Now I've done this, yeah, and the response you get back, it kind of gives you like a feeling like you're doing something great. And I've done this for like a whole year straight, where every week I went found somebody and I. So hi guys, welcome to the Driven Podcast again. I'm your host once again, Craig Clark, and I want to first off wish you all Happy New Year. We've just started the new year now. We've kicked this in. Hopefully, you've all spent some time with your family. You've all gone out there. You celebrated. You've all had like some time just to, I don't know, just get yourselves together. But also, if you haven't listened to the podcast before, I've also gone through some tips that you might need in order to start your new year off, in a good way. So you can go back and look at that. But what I just want to say, happy 2024. We're going into the new year. We want to strive. We want to get into things, get into a rhythm. We want to thrive as much as we can. We want to do as much as we can so that we're able to, just accomplish some stuff. But along with that, there's some things I want to ask you to do. First, I want you to, if you're not already subscribe to my channel, please subscribe now, because you know what, we could always use your subscribers. You're not only just helping me out, but you'll be also getting updates on when new episodes of my podcast are coming out. So please do that. Subscribe, like this video. If you do like the video, please like the video, comment, and also share this with as many people as you can, because I'm also here just to help you, give you as many tips, do as many things as needs be to make sure that you guys are getting the right information that you need. So there's that as well. But in this episode, we want to embrace the new year. Now, you've probably seen by the title, which I know I'm calling it already, that it's going to be about a certain film. So within this film, there's so many things about gratitude and having gratitude for exactly what we have in our life. Now, this is just to take us forward into the new year. Once you're in a frame of gratitude, it's very hard for you to be like depressed, if you know what I mean. So counting your blessings, counting the things that have happened to you throughout the year that are good, and even looking at some of the bad stuff and saying, I've survived this stuff, and now I'm in this situation where like I'm in a new year and I'm pushing, I'm going forward and moving through. So there's that. So I just want to make sure that we're able to look at this and be very intentional about some of the things we're doing, being very intentional about the things we're looking at and the way we're framing things, so that we're able to make the best of everything that's happening to us, or has happened to us, or is going to happen to us. So this is where we are today. So what I want to do, I want to kick off by having a few stories. Before I get into Soul, there's a couple stories that within my life that happened. So I won't go into too much detail in this. I started a business with a friend, and what happened is, within the business, we were working together and trying to strive together. Something happened to one of my friend's family members, and they pulled out of the business and left a whole bunch of stuff on me, which is financial headache. So it wasn't just so it's financial headache. It was just the running of the business as well, just everything that it entailed. It was a headache. He pulled out on me, and like we still talk, but we're not as friends. We're not as good close friends, because that's just really a bad thing to do. And although I understood where he's coming from, and he's probably gonna watch this and see it and be like, "Yo," but I understand where he was coming from. But it was a crap thing to do. It was a rubbish thing to do. There's another word I wanted to throw in there, but let's just put it as it was a rubbish thing to do, because at the end of the day, it left me in a lot of trouble. And especially with other people who were counting on me and him to fulfill certain parts of what we had to do within this business. It was all left on me. But what happened is, as I got through it, I had to pay off certain things, handle certain people certain ways and stuff like that, in order to get not just his name out of bad, but my name out of bad. it kind of let me, when it got to the end of it, it showed me a bunch of lessons that I needed to learn. And so at the end of it, I was very appreciative. I was angry as hell at one point. You know what I mean? I was sad. I was a little bit down. But at the end of it, I was able to turn around and say, you know what? I handled it. I handled it really well. And so it's like this thing came over me for like an appreciation for life, an appreciation for like who I am as a person. And so I got uplifted. I was kind of in a place where I was uplifted. I was feeling good. I was feeling, you know what I mean? For even though it was a crap situation, and even in the midst of the real heaviness, there was an appreciation to, you know, although I didn't get what I wanted from it, I've gotten something out of it. You know what I mean? So there's that, and then there was another story as usual. The breakup. I had a breakup, and like a lot of bad things happen. So basically, obviously, you're breaking up with somebody. It was handled not very well, by the way, for the amount of time that we were together. And then I lost a whole bunch of stuff. So prior to the breakup, I had a situation where I lost a car. I was living in another place, and so I got kicked out of there. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened, and the breakup was, it was probably the icing on the cake. But during the really hard time, you know, when you get to the point where you realize certain things and you start to come around to yourself, there was a flood of like appreciation and gratitude. And it was at the one of the lowest points. I had this great upsurge. There's a word, I can't even use the word, but there was a great surge of like gratitude and happiness and all that, and it made me view my life a whole lot differently. And I was able to really appreciate the smaller things in life, which made me then like move and shift into another place. And even though sometimes it felt like I was having anxiety, it felt more like expectation for something greater that was coming rather than anxiety. I don't know how to explain it to you. And so I was able to shift from one mode into another. And so it's hard to explain. It was it's hard to explain because it was something that really helped me to move forward. But those are the things that I'm talking about. So at the point where I had my worst situations, obviously I've had a few other situations that was probably more worse than that. But at the point where I had the worst situations, I know that I felt the most gratitude, and it's hard to explain. Those feelings of gratitude probably carried me for like 2-3 years, you know. So these are the things that like I'm trying to get across to you. And even within this film, Soul, we could see that there was quite a few things that this guy, what's his name, Joe Gardner, had gone through in order to make it to where he was at that point in time. So there's things that we can take from this film and use for ourselves to probably like propel ourselves forwards in our life. So what I want to do is talk through it a little bit now. I know I'm looking over this side because there's notes here, there's notes there. I'm kind of like flashed all over the place, but I want to probably just talk through it a little bit. And so this is the film Soul, which is done by Pixar, and it's a great film. It's got a lot of, although it's made in an animation style, which Pixar used to do a lot. I don't know about now. I'm not going to go into that. But Pixar used to do that a lot. They used to have films that were it's made in an animation way, but it had very adult themes, and it could appeal to both kids and to the adult. I think this one more appealed to the adult, and there wasn't much things in there for a child to really take notice of. It's like watching a film and knowing that there's an undercurrent theme, but not a lot of people would notice. But those probably who are into storytelling or who have a deeper mindset can look at and watch a film and see the under theme. So you can have a whole bunch of action, a lot of killing, or like romance, or whatever it is you're watching. But there's such an undergoing story that really carries the whole main story, the main plot of the film. So it's like that with this. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but I'm trying my best. Um, but if I give you the breakdown of the film, so you have this guy called Joe Gardner, and he is. You can see him. I like the way this film, the way it's captured, is amazing because within the first 10 to 15 minutes, you got so much information to go on that it carries the rest of the movie. So this guy Joe, he's a teacher. He teaches music to a school inside the school. Sorry, and he's got one key student that really likes to do what they're doing, loves the fact that they play music and stuff like that. And this one student is the star student, let's just say. So what happens is, anyway, Joe, he's very into jazz and he's very into music. And so it comes up to a point where he's living this mundane life, just getting by, paying the bills and teaching his students. But his ambition is to be a player, play with some big band or some big person. And it comes to play that he's got the opportunity to either have a full-time job in the school, or to play with this person who comes along. I can't remember her name now, but he plays. So he gets the opportunity to audition. He goes for the audition. They love him because he goes into a point where he gets carried away and he starts playing the music, and they love it. So what happens is he's so excited, he's walking home and he ends up in an accident, which forces him to go to the next realm where it's all about he's about to do what, he's dead or dying, or whichever way. He's in between life and death at this moment in time. And if he had gone into the light, then that would have been it. But he managed to jump out because he said, I've just got my opportunity to prove myself, to do this thing what I wanted to do. I'm not going to miss out on the opportunity. I've got to get back. In doing so, he end up, instead of going to the afterlife, he's gone to the before life. He's bumped into somebody. If somebody hasn't watched this film, spoilers, because I'm going to go down the rest of the film now, because I want to point out one or two things. He bumps into these people who are organizing the afterlife and the before life, and he is able to mentor one of the souls that are supposed to come to Earth. Now, this soul has been there for how many years, but has never had the opportunity, or hasn't had that spark within them to make them go to Earth and, well, to start their life in Earth. And without having that spark, there's no point in going to Earth, because it could be that they haven't got that thing to live. And I think that's what the spark is. But Joe's seeing this spark as, you know what, it's your purpose. And so they go through, they end up going to Earth together. She's in his body, or 22, because he's not he or she, but they've put a female's voice in it. He or she's gone into his body, and he's ended up in a cat. She's experienced the life, and then she doesn't want to leave, which is what's kind of given her spark, because she started to appreciate what she's seen of life. And so she wanted to experience certain things. And as she's gone through and experiencing, just eating pizza, seeing people, talking with people, and experiencing, like, even moving around in a body, it was fresh to her, or the soul, you know. It's experience, and this experience then got her to want to have that spark to live a life. And so throughout this, there's a whole bunch of themes that go on within the film, and it ends up good, because at the end of the day, he ends up going back, able to play for this person, this woman, and fulfill his spot. So his part, there's even a deep story that the woman told him. If I can remember it now, it was about, what was it? I'm forgetting now. But basically, the fish. So the fish in the sea. So there was a fish. It explains a lot, and it's probably nothing to do with what we're going to do here. But I want to tell this story. Because the story is quite good. But there was a fish, and it went to a big fish, and the small fish went to the big fish and goes, you know what? I want to go into the sea. And so the big fishes looked at the little fish like, what? Say that again? Go, I want to go in the sea. It goes, but you are in the sea. And the little fish looks at the big fish and goes, no, I'm in the water. I'm not in the sea. And there was so many deeper meanings. I might have butchered that story right there, but there's so many deeper meanings to that film. It was it's well to that story, but it was something that really caught my attention because this is something that you look at and you think, you know what, you think you've arrived, or you're not noticed that you've got to the place you want to be, but you feel like it should feel some other way, it should be another way. And so this is why this film is right A1 for me. You know, it's one of those films for me. And so what I want to do is, I haven't even turned this on, I've just realized. But anyway, I know that the sound is carrying through. I can tell that the sound is carrying through. I've got monitors down here that's showing me, so that's good. But yeah, Joe, basically, I think Joe's life, even though it was so depressing or down or sad or bad, what you will see is Joe's life is now it's in a place where you think that, okay, Joe needs to, like, his life doesn't look exciting. You've seen, I think in 22's eyes, she's seen that she's seen different people like Abraham Lincoln, different doctors, she's all these famous people, Gandhi, I forgot the other people, but a whole bunch of people that tried to mentor her at 22 into accepting and wanted to go and live a life, but it couldn't happen. But something about Joe's life really attracted her, and she said, you know what, number one, you're not your normal kind of person, because number one, you kind of want to get back to a life. And when she looked at his life, she said, it's so boring and there's nothing in it, like, why do you want to go back here? And so that kind of intrigued her, and I think that's probably what initially kicked off something to give her that spark. And then it's the fact that through like truly fresh eyes, somebody looking at their life, it's like the appreciation that she was able to have for his life because he was living a certain way or doing certain things, or like he was able to experience certain things. This kind of like played into a lot of what it means to have somebody, to have a life and to live it a certain way and to be a certain way. I mean, I remember going back now, one of the first times I started to appreciate the mundane things in my life, the very boring things. And so just looking back and saying, okay, I've seen a sunrise. I remember I used to wake up when I was about, I don't know, probably 10, between the age of 10. We lived in Newtown, so it's back that far. And so I used to wake up early in the morning before everybody and go into my front room. And we lived in a townhouse, so one of the rooms, the whole front of one of the rooms was made of glass and it faced towards the sun. And so I'd wake up in the morning just to watch the sunrise, you know, and just doing that, there was appreciation. There was a time when I worked, when we was in Southampton now, all my Southamptonites, salute. When I lived in Southampton now, I used to have to walk like a few miles to work. And I used to do it. I used to do it early in the morning and I appreciated it. So because of that walk, we had to walk. It was a beautiful walk because Southampton is near to the sea. And so it had different rivers that would run through, and walking over certain bridges at certain times of the morning as the sun is rising, sun rising. As you can tell, I'm an early bird. I'm a late bird tonight because right now it's 6 o'clock in the morning, which is early, but I haven't gone to bed because this is actually New Year's Day now. But yeah, so just walking over, I had an appreciation for the sun, for the walk, for the air. Even though I kind of compared what I was going through at that time, even though I was quite young, looking at certain people or walking past certain houses and thinking, you know what, these people are in bed, they don't know what they got. You know what I mean? So there was an appreciation for what other people had. Not that I wanted what they had too bad to the point where I was going to do something stupid for it, but it was just wanting to have that kind of thing in my life. So yeah, so there's that. But this film also tackles a lot of hard things, like what's the meaning of life? What does it truly mean to live not just the meaning of life, but does it mean to live, and appreciating what you have to live. You know what I mean? Appreciating the smaller things in life, having a new set. So let me show you something. If you guys was to go out there and get somebody to look at your life, they could actually, I mean, somebody who's not like terrible person, you know what I mean? Not one of these people that's gonna look at your life and be like, you know what, you ain't got this, you ain't got that. What about this? What about that? Not one of these people. I'm talking about a person that's going to look and say, you know what, you've got this. I actually did that today to somebody that said, oh, I kind of didn't have a good year. And I said, but this happened to you and that happened to you and that happened to you. And then they kind of say that, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah. Having somebody come in and do that, it will kind of like make you aware, and you should actually start appreciating things. But yeah, it's like looking at Joe's life in this film as well. I don't want to waste too much time because there's other things I want to give you in this thing. So looking at Joe's life as well, he was so focused on the jazz and making sure he wanted to get to this certain place where he was able to be what he wanted to be, that he forgot about, you know, I have to pay the bills, I have to do all these things. And don't get it twisted. Yeah, I understand there's a sacrifice to make to get to what you want, but you can't be, there's a saying my parents would say is that you're too heavenly minded to the point where you're no earthly good, you know. It's that kind of thing where people, it's like in church, obviously my family was from church, is saying, instead of, you can't just pray for the poor, you have to feed them. So you have to, the word and he says, remember to feed the poor that you pray for. You know what I mean? Because you can pray for them all you want, but if you've got hands to actually do something about the situation, then do something about the situation. Don't just use your hands to pray. You have to do something. So that's, I'm kind of going offbeat here, but it's just the fact of the matter is that you have to be able to keep a balance. If you get into a certain point in your life, he didn't have a woman in his life. Joe didn't have a woman in his life. He didn't have stacks of money in his life. His job wasn't secure until that very time we see him. You know what I mean? His mom was looking at him a certain way. And I'm not saying that every time's going to be balanced with you. I'm saying that at this point in that juncture in Joe's life, there needed to be more. And so that's what it was. Yeah, so there's that. But there's also another thing about being open and not hiding certain things. So I've got another podcast which I've recorded, which will be coming up soon. But it's about just being open and being honest and not and removing a mask, and you know, for other people to see into your life. So that kind of inspires them to know that, you know what, at the end of the day, you're able to influence other people or inspire other people by being open, but being honest. And so by Joe letting 22 see part of his life, or all the parts of his life, it kind of inspired her to say, you know what, I want a life too. But you know what I mean? It's this. I love the film, and like, I'm not gonna rate the film because unless you guys say in this podcast I should start rating things. A lot of this podcast, I don't see another podcast that's exactly like mine. So I would love your feedback. Please, please, please write in the comments any feedback you have about this podcast. And like I said before, it's all about continual improvement. But I'm not gonna rate a film. If I'm going to rate the film, I'm going to say, you know what, it's a good watch. And if you're looking at the deeper levels of watching a film, then you should look at the deeper levels and understand it and try and implement certain things into your life, because there's more to it than what I'm giving you here right now. And so, and I know this film probably I think it won an award, and it's also, it's just hailed as one of these great films because of the story and the way the animation tells the story. So there's that. Good watch, please watch it. That's from me, yeah. But it's not your action movie. It's more philosophical on some of the things that you see in it. But yeah. So for that, I'm trying to say to you guys, have gratitude for the rest of the year. I want you to try and do things that will help you have gratitude. So, like I said to you before, we have to probably discuss the idea that failures and setbacks and unexpected turns are sources for gratitude. Because, like I said to you before about my theory, is that it led for me to have resilience. It led for me to have gratitude for where I am and for the people around me, for those of people who were actually trustworthy around me and able to tell me, Craig, this is wrong, or Craig, you're not doing that, or Craig, more could be done, or just for somebody to come and tell me these things, I'm actually so grateful for. I'm so grateful for now. At the time you don't see it, but afterwards you see it. So if you don't if you don't go through these hard times, you're never going to have like good times properly. Because you'll continually have that same bad time. You need to have growth. You need to grow through these situations and not just sit down and say, in actual fact, good times, good times, good times, good times. With the hard times come lessons, and I'm not going to go through that whole Joe Rogan speech about hard times, good man, good, all of that stuff. I'm saying that you need to have a few of those times to remind you, what, I need to be on my team. I probably need to change something within myself, and you can actually be grateful for the things you have. It's like, I know there's a few kids around that they have everything they want, and so they don't know about the value of certain things. But if you go through a few hard times, you're gonna understand value of certain things. Yeah. So there's that. And then having gratitude for the mundane things. This is something you see within the film. There was a point where 22 inside of Joe's body is now looking around, and just the fact that she saw like having a few sweets, she had a lollipop, that was great. First time having pizza, she saved a bit because remember this, looking at the sun and feeling the shade on the skin, appreciation for it. So, and I think there was one of the seeds from one of the trees was twirling down, caught it in her hand, and then just looking at it like, what, this is amazing. This is the thing we're talking about. You've got to have that kind of, you would say, it's not, I'm going to say a weird word, but gratitude. Let's just leave it as gratitude. You got to have that kind of gratitude for life. Because some people, they just forget all of the good things that they have and focus on all of the negative. And if once you're negatively focused, you're not going to be able to have a flexible mindset, because everything around you is going to be negative. You have to be optimistic about everything in life, and to be optimistic about everything in life, you got to have gratitude. You got to have gratitude. If you start off, there's a cycle you can get yourself into where you are looking at life in a certain way, and it just leads you into nothing but badness, trouble. It leads you into negativity, and you can have a cycle of negativity that's hard for you to break out of. But once you're looking at things very optimistically with gratitude, start your day off with gratitude. We're going to go into some of these exercises in a bit, but I wanted to have really think about having gratitude for the mundane things in life. The fact that you wake up in the morning, you're in your correct mind, because some people wake up with, they've got mental illnesses, and if you do, then please seek help, go to doctors and everything, and you'll be able to get things to help you live with your life that way. But what I'm trying to say is, you've got people that they wake up in the morning and their mind is not right. You can go to sleep okay and you wake up just not okay. There's people out there that they go to sleep and don't wake up. So be grateful that you wake up in the morning. Just wake up and say, I'm grateful. Even if you don't believe in God, just say it. I'm grateful. For me, I believe in God, so it's not, thank you God, I'm awake. Good. On to the next. You know what I mean? And give grateful for when I wake up and I turn up. You know what I mean? And I'm able to see that the sun is up, or even if it's a cloudy day that there's rain. You know what? That means something's getting watered. So that's what I'm trying to say. There's some places in the world where there is no water, so therefore rain. You know what I mean? And if we go into the whole depth of what rain actually means, you'd be grateful for it. Okay, and that's just the background meaning. Never mind it's feeding your ground, it's soil. feeding your soul, you're fielding your, you know what I mean, all the harvest and all that thing, all good. People don't have a job. Be grateful for your job, no matter how small it is, whether it's you're a cleaner, whether you're a custodian, if you want to put it that way. If you're somebody that packs lemons in a box, that was one of my first jobs. Yeah, is packing lemons in a box every day. If you're doing that, I'm just saying, be grateful, have great gratitude for it. Eating, some people, they do a gratitude eating, and so every bite they're grateful, they're being grateful for every bite, just to being able to taste each and every flavor. It's not just a skill, it's something you could be grateful for. You know, there's some people that can tell the very slight change in flavor in something. Yo, that means you're kind of grateful for your taste buds. So that's what I'm saying. Smelling the food and smelling whatever's around you, whether it's bad smells or good smells. You know, having gratitude. The fact that you're able to sleep, because some people have insomnia. I'm just saying, be grateful. So be grateful for nothing. Be grateful for everything. Be grateful. Just have gratitude. But what I want to do is suggest to you a few ideas. Some things I have done, some things I've kind of seen, and I'm like, this sounds like a good idea. I might try. Okay, so express appreciation to someone new each week. Now, I've done this, yeah, and the response you get back, it kind of gives you like feeling like you're doing something great. And I've done this for like a whole year straight, where every week I went found somebody and I've just told them a gratitude. I'm grateful for what you've done, you know, and it kind of forced me to not just my immediate circle, but the extended, or even people on the street, like, yo, thank you, that smile kind of cheered me up. I did that as well. So I'm just saying that it kind of it bled into more than just one a week. It bled into like at certain times I've just seen certain things. I'm like, yo, thank you. And it was, people were actually grateful that I actually thanked them. Some people, one or two people, I would say, they turned a bit funny with me, like, because they were just random strangers, which is to be expected. You might think I'm crazy after that, but it is what it is. Okay, so starting a gratitude jar. Now, I've not done this, so whenever something makes you thankful, just write it down and put it in a jar. Now, I haven't done this, and what you do is at the end of like the year, you're able to count up all these things that you're grateful for. Whether it's a year or a month or something, you can look into the jar and pick out all these things. Now, I haven't done this, and it's something that I actually want to do. So I might just start this, and then I will share with you guys how it went. Let's see if I can start this. Yeah, I'll actually make a note. Let's make a note for myself. Right there. So I've just stated that I will start this with myself and Tyler and the wife. Okay, so there we go. So that's there. All right, so right, a gratitude photo challenge. Now take a photo each week of something you're grateful for and compile them in a gratitude photo album at the end of the year. So that's almost like the gratitude jar one. I'm gonna do this one. I'm definitely gonna do this one myself as well. A weekly reflection. Right, I've done this one. So set aside some time each week to reflect on the positive aspects of the past week, expressing gratitude for the lessons learned or moment of joy. So it might be that you're having a journal and you're writing down, like, set aside some time each week and you're just writing down your reflections. So I would write them every evening. I was writing my journal every morning. So I'd write my gratitude journal in the morning, and then I'd write in the evening. I'd write down like all my thoughts, because I like to process my thoughts. I haven't done that for the last year. I was going to say a few months. It's been a bit more. For the last year, I haven't written a journal properly, but I'd write out a journal just because I wanted to. To write down your thoughts is an amazing thing. Write down your thoughts, because you can process a lot of things. But anyway, I'm going off time. So anyway, the gratitude journal write down your positive things, and then you can actually just reflect on them at the end of the week and see how much things you actually have to be grateful for. So yeah, there's that. And then there's positive affirmations. Okay. So when you're being really, like, you're criticizing yourself and other people, just replace the words with the positive words. So I think I've said before, I'm going to actually do I'm going to tell you how to do, like, positive affirmations. I'm going to set aside some time to do that with you, because there's a process in which I used, and it's something that's had a knock-on effect to other people, teaching that same way to other people of how to write great affirmations. So there's a process I want to go through with you guys on that. But yeah, right now, just replace the self-criticism that you're having for yourself, replace them with positive affirmations, so that way you're able to appreciate more. You're able to, like, you'll be able to reflect back on, and you'll be able to give yourself more of a positive charge for when you're going out there and doing things. You'll be able to, like, have more of a better reflection of yourself, and more gratitude will come towards you. So you'll be able to be grateful. Yeah, I'm going to say so many bad words, or wrong words. Sorry, not bad, but wrong words. So you're able to be very grateful, and you're able to, like, change yourself in a certain way. So I've gone through that. So what we're going to go through some uncommon ways. So I've heard of these before, and I'm going to say them to you. I think I've done a couple of these. Right. So a reverse bucket list. So on this reverse bucket list, basically, you're having all the things that you have done. It's not the things that you want to do, it's all the things that you have done. Okay, make that, so all these things, you may feel like you haven't done anything. I'll guarantee you've done 10 things that you're really grateful for. Okay, you have done at least 10 things. So it's not a bucket list of things you want to do, it's the bucket list of things that you have done already. Okay, reverse bucket list, and that's grateful gratitude. Okay. Failure appreciation. So you got to appreciate the failures, because basically, if you appreciate the failures, you'll be able to see the blessings that's inside of them, all the things that you should be grateful for because these things happened. So a bucket list. So you've got the bucket list, you've got the failure appreciation, you've got gratitude for unfinished goals. Now, the reason why this is important is because there's a lesson for you to learn in there, to say, in actual fact, I didn't finish this goal because, okay, and you can write down, and then you've got that way so you can navigate when you get to a certain point and you feel like you're not going to finish. You already got in your mind that I didn't do it because of this time, last time, this is what's happening now. Is it a repeat situation? Is it different? Can I go through it and make it better, rather than to leave it and for something else to come and take its place? So that's for that, and you mean to not finish this goal, so you'll be able to log what's happening with you. So have gratitude for unfinished goals. Yeah, for whatever the reason it is. It could have been something really, really big that happened, or it could be just that, you know what, I just wasn't able to finish the goal. That's just it. So let's just do that. Please do that. I think this is a great one for you guys. So a tech detox for a week or a day, a weekend or a day. So this, I said a week. How many of you could actually live without your technology for a whole week? I don't think there'll be many. But I believe that having a detox from just for the weekend, or even for one day, you'll start to see certain things. Your eyes will open. You shouldn't be breaking out into sweats. You shouldn't be trying to clamor or fight anybody for your technology back. Just know that, you know what, it's something that you need to do. Okay. All right. Sit in silence and stillness. Okay. So this, just sitting there in silence and stillness, something that's amazing you should do, and something that will actually help you to be a bit more grateful. I remember the first time. Okay, so one of the first times I started meditating like whiles ago. It's just to sit there and acknowledge my thoughts and stuff like that. But I remember the first time it really made sense to me, and then there's other times after that because so many things come to you afterwards. Um, I it was in that breakup, so it was in that breakup, and I there was so much things going on in my brain, so many emotions going on here as well. See this I won't go into that, but that's different things, so NLP and the rest of it. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, so there was so many things going on in my head, so many emotions coming up, and I thought, you know what, I just need to I don't know what to do. I just need to sit down and be still. I said, let me just meditate. That's just it just my mind just went there. And so I sat down, yeah, and I just remember sitting down, being still, closing my eyes, and just breathing and just breathing and just stopped breathing. Not stop breathing, but stop focusing on breathing, just let it go. And I tell you, like, it's one of the best experiences because I was able to sit back and look at the emotions. Like, it's like my emotions and my thoughts were over there and I was over here. I was like, yo, that's amazing. And from that, I was like, you know what? Meditation is the one. So that's just me. Yeah. But I want to just make sure that you guys are okay with all this. Please, guys, I'm wrapping up the episode now. I want you to reflect on all the things that you should be grateful for. If you're not grateful for already, please, I want you to reflect on all the things you should be grateful for. And I want you to give me, so like I said to you, put some energy on this thing. Write in your comments exactly what's going on with you guys so that we're able to keep you accountable. I want you to write down all the things you are grateful for in the comments. So like I said before, once you start writing it down, number one is keeping you accountable. You're keeping yourself accountable. Somebody in the group is going to keep you accountable. If I see it, I'm going to keep you accountable. Yeah. Number two, when you write things down, there's an energy that happens with it because number one, it goes into the back of your mind, it goes into your subconscious, and it makes it more real, makes it something that, you know what, is more attainable. You're able to reflect on it again. It will come back to you in your actions because it's in your your subconscious, sorry. So what I want you to do is write it down in the comments, and when you get a piece of paper and stuff, write it down, not in your so once you've written it down there, that's made it real because you got accountability, it's going in your subconscious and the rest of it. But also want you to write it down with a pen and paper, and that makes it even seep more into your subconscious. So please, 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 also if you have any stories, because I'm going to do a section where I'm telling stories of people, real people's lives. I don't want fake stories. Yeah, I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want stories that I'm able to tell of people who've gone through amazing things. And especially if now, because I'm talking about gratitude in this section, I want to hear about your gratitude stories, all the stories that will help you. And we're going to build a community around you guys. So I just want to make sure that I put that out there for you. Once again, please like, comment, subscribe, share, okay? Because we're just here to help people. So many negative things on the net, and I see it all the time. I'm not going to be one of those people to be doing negative things. We're going to go on positivity here. So I want you to share this with somebody as a positive thing for them to have and use. Anyway, like I say to you all the time, please don't give up on your dreams when everything you want is just a few steps away. Okay? Do not give up on your dreams when everything you want is just a few steps away. Yo, peace out.